we invite our father for, no matter how short, sir, may Almighty Allah reward you abundantly.
Engineer Nasir Giwa, Energy Executive, Infrastructure Strategist, Leadership Mentor. Engineer Nasir Giwa stands as one of Nigeria's most respected voices in the energy and industrial development space. A seasoned executive whose career spans more than 2 decades across power generation, refinery systems, petrochemicals, and gas-to-industry transformation, his work reflects a rare blend of technical mastery, strategic foresight, and national skill impact. He has held senior leadership roles across some of the most influential organizations shaping Nigeria's energy future. Most notably, he served as Vice President Power Generation at Siemens Nigeria, where he contributed to major national electricity infrastructure initiatives and supported efforts to modernize generation capacity, strengthen transmission systems, and advance sustainable electricity market reforms. His leadership bridged engineering execution with institutional coordination, enabling structured progress in Nigeria's evolving power ecosystem. Beyond Siemens, Engineer Giwa's portfolio includes extensive experience in refinery, petrochemical, and gas industrial projects, where he has coordinated high-value national significant infrastructure development. His work has supported Nigeria's industrial expansion and long-term energy sustainability through project strategy, stakeholder alignment, operational oversight, and cross-sector collaboration. His influence extends across the broader energy sector. He has been instrumental in the operations of multinational energy companies, including Solar Turbine Services Nigeria and Mantrax, formerly Tractor and Equipment Nigeria Limited, earning recognition such as the Key Contributor Award from Solar Turbines for Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. He was also listed among the 60 most influential figures in power by ESI Africa in 2015, underscoring his standing as a sector thought leader. Engineer Giwa currently serves as coordinator of the Bois Refinery and Petrochemicals project, one of the most ambitious industrial undertakings in sub-Saharan Africa. His role places him at the center of refinery development, gas infrastructure expansion, and industrial integration efforts that are reshaping Nigeria's energy and manufacturing landscape. He is also the founder of NG Energy Limited, an African energy company focused on innovative, sustainable power solutions across renewable and non-renewable sources. The company's work spans electricity supply, project development, advisory services, and advanced energy technology deployment. Across all these roles, Engineer Giwa has operated at the intersection of engineering, policy, and strategic execution, translating high-level national energy ambitions into structured, actionable infrastructure pathways. His expertise covers power generation scale-up, embedded generation frameworks, investor confidence structures, and long-term electricity market stabilization. Beyond his corporate and national contributions, Engineer Giwa is deeply committed to leadership development. As the Grand Mentor of the Nasir Giwa Mentorship Platform, NGMP, he guides emerging professionals through principles of disciplined leadership, structured personal growth, and values-driven nation building. His mentorship philosophy emphasizes integrity, sacrifice, and strategic clarity as the foundations of meaningful transformation. A compelling speaker and thought leader, Engineer Giwa brings to every platform a powerful combination of technical depth, strategic insight, and principled leadership, offering nuanced perspectives on how bold governance, institutional discipline, and visionary execution can unlock sustainable industrial and energy process. Please join me in welcoming Engineer Nasir Giwa, Energy Executive, Infrastructure Strategist, Leadership Mentor.
Thank you very much. That's very kind. At a point, I was wondering if she was actually talking about me. I wasn't expecting that. Thank you very much. Well, I think I have a big challenge. I can't say they have saved the best because certainly I'm not the best. I can't claim the best with the speakers that have spoken, starting with our mothers here. And our two sheikh that have just left. May Allah bless you all. So the challenge is that I have to make this very simple and at the same time very short, and I have to make it in a way that will... Yes. So I don't know if I should say my topic sounds very interesting, but I'm sure you'll be wondering what I'm going to speak about with this type of topic. So I am going to try as much as possible to break it down, make it short, and make it interesting. And I hope I'll be very successful in that. But before I do that, I must pay homage and respect here to my brother, Air Vice Marshal Akeem Adebumeyin, whom I have known for a very long time. If we talk about mentorship, this word, it was one of the very, very first sets. I remember, you know why I'm so excited? I remember when you did your interview to enter the NDA, and you told me that the person that interviewed you, his name is Triple A, and you are also Triple A. I'm not sure if you remember. Abdusalam Abubakar Alaji. It's the same Abdusalam, isn't it? Yes. I hope you are still in touch with him. Now, from that time, today, my brothers, my mothers, and my sisters, today is a Air Vice Marshal. He's a general. How else can one be so happy? He's not only a general in the military, he's also a general at home. For those who understand that, may Allah continue to strengthen you. May Allah continue to elevate you. The rank you have attained will not be the last. And Allah will continue to protect you everywhere. I feel personally blessed. I feel personally happy to see this progress. So if you are talking of BMI, best of mankind, so that best of mankind must translate to aspiring to be best in everything you do. So if you need a mentor, that is a mentor right there for you. From being a member of Nigerian Aid Group, a uniform organization, he got his inspiration that he will go into the military, and it's not just in the military. He has attained the rank of a general. May Allah bless you. And to my mothers, Mrs. Kekere, you have always been very supportive. Thank you so much. And Professor Yakub, thanks for those kind words. We aspire to do more, and we pray that with your continued support, we will continue to do the best. For our children, who today have told us they want to be best of mankind, if they are best of mankind, if they aspire to be best of mankind, it means my topic, my job has been made very easy. And I greet my father, Alhaji Aminullah. You are welcome, sir. My topic today, as provided by my brother, Lukman Adekombi. Again, that is an example of someone who is bold, who is courageous, who is very persistent. He never gave up. 16 good years. I knew when all this started. Sometimes I wonder, where will the fund come from? He never wavered. He has his complete trust in Allah. That is an example. He's a beautiful example of a bold Muslim. He's a good example of a fearless Muslim. May Allah continue to preserve his life upon goodness. He is a wonderful brother. And I thank him for giving me this opportunity to be here today. The topic, I hope you all find it interesting. It said spiritual greed, generating power through strategic sacrifice. Let me start by giving praise to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the one who brings light out of darkness. I was smiling when the light was taken off. I said, oh yes, people will appreciate this topic now. What was running in your mind when the light went off? You want it back immediately, isn't it? You are praying the light should come back. So that you should then appreciate that attribute of Allah, the one who brings light out of darkness, the one who illuminates hearts after confusion. Sheikh Abdurrahman Ahmad spoke about how this world has been so much a confusing one. Allah is the one who brings nations out of weakness into strength. Today, we are not merely going to discuss electricity. We are discussing light. You saw it you appreciate it when it was taken off today. We are discussing light in our homes, light in our industries, and light in our nation. Light in our hearts. Because light never comes without sacrifice. And today's theme is all about sacrifice. Why? If you want light in a bulb, something must burn, isn't it? We all agree to that. If we want light in a turbine or generator that we all use at home, what must burn? Fuel must burn, isn't it? Fuel must ignite. So if we want light in a nation, system must be reformed. And if you want light in your soul, in our soul, if we want light in our soul, then desires must be disciplined. My mother here spoke a lot about discipline this morning. Again, please remember, my topic is spiritual greed, generating power through strategic sacrifice. To do justice to that, I will like to take you through national case studies, and they are all countries in Africa, so that I can drive home my point well. I'll be talking about Egypt, South Africa, and of course, Nigeria. Why? Because nations like believers either build their greed or endure darkness. So let's talk about Egypt. Egypt can best be described. So my case on Egypt can best be described as sacrifice with speed. You know, there is one thing to say, oh, I'm sacrificing, but that is a typical example of sacrifice with speed. So a few years ago, Egypt was in serious electricity crisis. Frequent blackouts, economic strain, public frustration. Under their current president, when he took over, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, he took a national choice. He said, we will not manage darkness, just like we were not prepared to manage the darkness. Were you thinking that we will continue with this session when light was taken off? Was that possible with our phones, the light from our, that was not possible. So El-Sisi said they are not going to manage darkness. Rather, he said he will eliminate it. Remember, I am telling you the story of Egypt, how they manage their electricity supply. No, so what did Egypt did? Egypt partnered with Siemens Energy. And what followed was extraordinary. That partnership led to what we can call an extraordinary result. They packaged 3 major power plants in order to ensure that they have regular electricity supply. And within 27 months, that project was completed. 15,000 megawatts. I don't know if you can relate with that. 15,000 megawatts is what Egypt did in 27 months, in less than 3 years. And that became one of the fastest large-scale power projects. Now, let that sink in very well. I said Egypt produced about 15,000 megawatts in just over 2 years. So what does that translate to? It means Egypt treated electricity as a matter of national survival. They sacrificed billions of dollars. They sacrificed political comfort and avoided administrative delay. They compressed bureaucracy and they monitor progress directly by the president. So they enforce timelines. It's the same continent I'm talking about, Egypt in Africa. The same, we are all Africans, so we face the same challenges. But in the case of Egypt, they had different urgency. Spiritually, when a believer decides to change, he does not negotiate earnestly with weakness. If you decide today, I want to be observing my salat regularly, I don't want to miss any salat, you won't still be procrastinating, isn't it? You will be doing everything possible if you are really serious. So Egypt was serious. They did that. The same way a believer who is serious, once he decides that he wants to be doing the right thing, he will act. He will act. And Egypt acted and they got that power. So let's quickly now look at South Africa. If you enjoy my story about Egypt, let's see if you will say the same thing of South Africa. Maybe many of us in this room are very young. I don't know how much you know of South Africa before they became a democratic nation that we have today. But South Africa today is an example of cost of delay, what we can call cost of delay. I will urge you to go and read about South Africa. So now let's examine South Africa. For years, it had one of Africa's strongest electricity system. Yet, over time, maintenance was postponed. They weren't doing it. If you want to become best of mankind, you won't be postponing your salat, isn't it? Reforms were delayed. If you want to become best of mankind, once you identify any of your shortcomings, you want to work on them immediately, isn't it? Governance weakness accumulated. If you are very lazy, before I said the strong Muslim is preferred to a weak one. So when you know your weakness, you quickly work on them and not allow them to accumulate. So even with about 58,000 megawatt capacity, you remember what I said about Egypt? South Africa had 58,000 megawatts. And the population of South Africa is roughly what? Who knows? The population of South Africa, 64 million. Is it the Ramadan? Because I'm sure we all know. Okay, so delay has consequences. South Africa delayed in taking serious action. So in spiritual life also, delay causes decay. The more you delay, the more you decay in your religion. So if you postpone discipline, you inherit instability. So South Africa teaches us that past strength, I told you to go and read about South Africa so you can understand their past strength. So, that's very important for us as youth. Very, very important. Majority of whom are here today. South Africa teaches us that past strength does not guarantee future stability. Reforms matters and discipline matters. Okay, that's about South Africa. Now, let's come home. Let's talk about our country, Nigeria. The giant of Africa. Do you agree? Abba. So let's talk about Nigeria. So how do I describe my case on Nigeria? I said potential without full power. Do you agree with that? At least you experience it this afternoon. Now, let us come home. Nigeria. What is our installed capacity? 13,000 megawatts. Do you remember what I said about Egypt and South Africa? If you don't remember Egypt, at least you will remember South Africa. Nigeria. What's the population of Nigeria? Over 200 million. And we have installed capacity, 13,000. No. South Africa, we said, what's their population? And what's their installed capacity? 58,000, isn't it? So please, take note. Now, I will quickly go to use some of the words of the former Minister of Power, Professor Batnaji. So this might sound strange to most of us. You might not know him. Professor Batnaji was the Minister of Power during the time of President Jonathan. I mean, we know President Jonathan, have we? He was his power minister for some time. So he said Nigeria requires approximately 100,000 megawatts to function effectively as a serious medium economy. He said medium economy. However, at the moment, what is happening? We are struggling to deliver 5,000 megawatts. Each time we try to do above 5,000, what happens? I want to hear, what happens? You will agree with me that certainly this is not a minor gap. Do you agree? So the young ones amongst us, I hope you are taking your decision. After now, I hope you will go and study electrical engineering or mechanical engineering to help Nigeria out. So it's not a small gap, isn't it? It is certainly a structural defect. And he said, if you say we need 100,000 megawatts to bridge the gap to become a medium economy, remember he said one megawatt out of the 100,000, one eyoko cost between $1 to $2 million. Please multiply it. What's the exchange rate today? Oh yeah, somebody use your phone. Now your phone can do it. Multiply $1 million. That's the cheapest. He said between 1 and 2. By whatever it is. That is what he said 1 megawatt of electricity could cost. So that means the scale of investment required is enormous. It goes without saying. In his own words, he said, government alone cannot finance this. That's what he said. He said, government alone cannot finance this. But I told you the story of Egypt, isn't it? You remember what happened in Egypt? The government did it, isn't it? The president was directly involved. But Professor Inaji thought this is beyond government in the case of Nigeria. So if you agree with him, I leave you with that. So he said private capital must play a role. I don't disagree with that. Private capital can come in. But private capital does not move on optimism. He says so, and I agree with that. It moves with confidence. And the level we have, the urgency we have, we cannot wait for that. So he was talking and asking about, I don't want to talk much about that, not to confuse you, that the government should introduce what they call PPA. Write it down. PPA, Power Purchase Agreement. I don't want to spend time on that. He said government needs that. What that simply does, I don't know whether you agree with that or not. What that simply does is that the government will give guarantee that for each power you generate, take or pay, whether we use it or not, we will pay you. So, can our government do that? That's his own postulation. That's not what I am saying. So, what am I saying? What do I want? Is I am preaching, while I do not disagree with private participation through PPA, which is important, but that will not get us quickly to that destination. To get quickly to that destination, we need direct government involvement, both federal and the subnational, the state government. So, driving it further home, under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we have witnessed bold reforms, such as fuel subsidy removal, exchange rate unification, electricity reform, empowering the states. All these required courage because they were not done before. We must acknowledge that and we must give it to the president. He is a courageous person, and that is what we need to turn around the power sector. So my advice today, to match Egypt's scale, Nigeria must institutionalize weekly delivery monitoring to see how much we are doing. Fix our transmission aggressively and restore bankable PPA for private sector to also have a stake. Enforce market discipline. Boldness must now meet execution. There is one good news. Let me quickly talk about the good news. A few years back, the late President Muhammadu Buhari, may Allah forgive him, had an agreement with Siemens. It was popularly called a $2.3 billion power agreement. But after some time, the removal of that project, unfortunately, we lost him in between, and we never had that same drive again. But now, alhamdulillah, the president is reviving that project, and that was recently confirmed by the German deputy head of mission in Nigeria. So what is it called? Let me break it down for you so that you will understand. That was called Presidential Power Initiative. That, in a way, is trying to mirror what LCC did in Egypt. If you remember what I said. Phase 1 was to immediately take us to have the ability to deliver 7,000 megawatts. You know, we said anytime we try to do above 5,000, what happened? The grid collapsed, isn't it? So, phase 1 will have done that. And phase 2 will have taken us to 12,000. And phase 3, which originally should have been next year, 2027, supposed to take us to 25,000, which is still far low compared to what we said is the gap, 100,000 megawatts. So, the electricity reform is also a good news. The states can now do what the federal government does. Before now, it's only federal government that gives license to generate power and what have you. But President Tinubu have signed that into law. States can now do it. And because states can now do it, all of us, we are all in Lagos, isn't it? So, we now have to call on our state, Lagos. First, we have to commend them for what they are doing with the Light Up Lagos. But we now have to, we are in Ramadan now, so let's also pray that Lagos can move from light up to power up. Because light up seems to be street lights and what have you. But we need power. Because it is when we have the power that we can industrialize. So that when you graduate, you know, we have a place to work. You don't have to travel abroad. So, again, the governor has demonstrated leadership. That is commendable. But now we must move from lighting streets, like I said, to powering our homes. And certainly powering our industry. So we want Lagos to take the lead to generate. Take the lead. Take the determination. If it is 1 megawatt, let Lagos take that lead. Embedded power generation. When Lagos does it, then what will happen? Other states will like to do something, isn't it? So, The spiritual parallel to all this I'm saying. Let me ask something. If you do not have power, how do we industrialize? Can anyone answer it? If we do not have power in Nigeria, can we industrialize? Could possible. If we do not, how will our factories run? Can our factories run? Even we couldn't have this conference without power. We can't create job. Now, let's now take it to spirituality. Now, spiritually talking, if you do not have iman, if you do not have sacrifice, it's because you sacrifice, that's why you are here. It's because you sacrifice, that's why you are still fasting. If you are not obedient to Allah, how do you expect to have His mercy? Do you expect to have His mercy? How do you expect to have Jannah? Is that possible? Down now. So just as industrialization requires stable electricity, salvation requires stable faith. No sacrifice means no transformation. And no discipline means no elevation. And no structure means no stability. Egypt sacrificed and built the power plants. South Africa delayed and they are struggling. Nigeria today stands at a turning point. We commend our president for reviving the momentum. We urge speed in execution. We call on our governors to rise. We call on Lagos to lead. We call on institutions to restore confidence. Electricity is not about wires. It is about dignity. And just as we fast to discipline our souls, Nigeria must discipline its systems. When sacrifice means strategy, the grid will stabilize and will stop collapsing. The economy will continue to rise. The nation will continue to shine. And when sacrifice means sincerity, Allah's mercy descend. Do you agree with that? Do you agree with that? May Allah grant this nation wisdom. May Allah grant our leaders discipline. May Allah grant us courage to sacrifice. May Allah make us people of Jannah. And may Allah bless us both in this world and in the hereafter. Thank you.
Jazakallah khairan kathiran. Takbirullah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Babawa, am I low? Am I low? Thank you so much, sir. On behalf of AIC, we appreciate you, sir. May Almighty Allah reward you abundantly, beyond measure.